Welcome everybody, this is Red Bull Ring Austria in beautiful Styria, or if you wish in Steiermark auf Deutsch, of course, as you wish, of course. We are just now on the starting grid just before the first FIA Central European Zone Championship race of this weekend, and just ahead of us there is a 1 hour long endurance race, and of course it will be quite a challenging race for all the crews. In total we do have 21 cars on the grid ready to take this challenge, and of course some of the crews are choosing the option to switch the drivers in the middle of the race during the pit stop. On the other hand, on other cars, for example, from the second place starting 77 by IRC Bratislava, these cars have only one driver. So one more time, it also will be a battle of the strategies and a battle of teams, not only the drivers behind the wheel. Let's wait for the cars. We can see cars coming from the last corner, and cars are now in the sighting lap, so they will, or the drivers will be looking for their spots on the grid. Just next to me there is the place for a 77 Lamborghini Huracan GT3 by ARC Bratislava, which will be driven by Adam Konopka, the son of the team boss Miro Konopka, of course, who will also be in the race behind the wheel of his 44 Lamborghini, starting from P7. Another Lamborghini GT3 just behind Konopka, and it is Alexander Olpe starting with this beautiful Lamborghini Huracan number 78. But let's wait for the cars which will be on the first row, on the front row, at the very beginning of the race. We do have the number 617, and this is the racing crew that will be starting the race from the pole position. And of course another Lamborghini is also coming. So firstly, closer look on this beautiful car, number 617, and we will be focused also on this car starting from the pole position with the crew Tverasser McCancy. So let's wait and see what approach they're gonna choose and which driver will be starting the race. Anyway, let's take a closer look on the Slovakian yellow Lamborghini. This is Adam Konopka, and Adam is of course ready to start this race for ARC Bratislava number 77 from the second place on the grid. And of course there will be a quick pre-race talk with the race engineer about the car setup and about the approach into the first corner, because it's always very, very, very tight in the first corner after the start of the race here on the Red Bull Ring. You know, it's a climbing turn with a lot of actions all the time, and a huge asphalt zone at the exit. So fortunately it's a plenty of room over there, but each time we see also plenty of action in there. So this is the car starting from the second place. We have two Lamborghinis at the front row, and let's move back to the grid because Adam Konopka, he has a much conversation with his engineer, so I would rather not bother him. There is with number 26 crew Mraz and Homola, the KTM X-Bow, beautiful car, beautiful GT2 car. And we are in another row right now. There is a BMW M4 GT3 number 500 by the driver Antal Shigo. Right next to him another Lamborghini driven by Austrian driver Christian Wimberger, number 63, and another Lamborghini. And I'm much curious about this one because, as you can see, here is a Lamborghini number 44. This is the second car from ARC Bratislava team with the team boss himself behind the wheel. This is Miro Konopka behind the wheel, number 44, starting from P7, and I believe we will have a time to have a small or quick chat with Miro Konopka. So, Miro Konopka starting the race from P7. Hello, welcome to Red Bull Ring. How do you feel before the start of the endurance race, Miro?
We will see. I don't have a very good lap in the quali, but problem is that's a very good competition because in 4 tenths, my son is 4 tenths quicker in his 6th position. Before me, it's fantastic.
Will you be also nervous because of your son starting from the front row?
Sorry, one more time because speak my manager. Sorry.
Sure. Are you going to be nervous because of your son starting from the front row?
No. I think it's okay. We will see how it will be. In water, I will be nervous, but in dry, my son, I think is experienced. Thanks.
Okay, best of luck for Miro Konopka, and I believe we can have also a very quick chat here with one of the Mechanic's car, starting the number 11 from, actually, yes, this is number 11, starting from P9, and it is the crew of Jakub Knoll and Josef Zaruba. We have a Josef over here. Hello. Quick chat, please. How do you see the race? Because you're gonna be in the car as a second driver. You will be taking over from Jakub. So how do you feel just before the race?
I feel pretty good. So I'm looking forward to take the car and finish on the podium. I hope we win and we fight for the overall position. So looking forward.
Thank you very much. Best of luck also for Mechanic Motorsport, powered by Bagheera. One of the cars, one of the Lamborghinis, ready to start its race. So this is, one more time, this is number 11 of crew Jakub Knoll and Josef Zaruba, starting from P9. And you can see the second Lamborghini over there, the red one. Let's follow me there. Let's follow me there on the grid. We can see another Lamborghini by Mechanic Motorsport, powered by Bagheera. It will be starting from P13, it's number 22, and it is also one to watch because also the team boss Jiří Michanek will be behind the steering wheel during the race. So right now we need to clear the grid and see you in a few moments from the commentary box.
We are opening the 2023 season here in Germany. First of the 6 calendar events that are ready for us this year.
Oh, there's contact between Joachim Gallage and Libor Milotan.
There is the race leader, Filip Salaguarda. They are now going to be side by side across the line, but Gallage is prevailing. Joachim Gallage scores another victory. With his teammate, there's a slight touch in the first corner. What a move that was. And he's third, and there's a contact. Luckily, everybody else has managed to avoid that car. This is going to be a photo finish between the two Lambos. Who's first? It must be Denis Vašek. Unbelievable. This is a big crash, massive crash.
So one more time, hello and welcome from sunny Red Bull Ring in Styria in Austria. As you can see, we are almost ready to start the endurance race of the FIA Central European Zone Championship, and it will be, I believe, close battle between the two Lamborghini cars into the first corner, and it will be great fight between the teams over the whole 1 hour race. So one more time, front row Lamborghini number 617 of crew Tverasser and McKenzie. Next to him, the yellow Lamborghini 77 of Adam Konopka. So we are green and we are racing on Red Bull Ring again. The Lamborghini starting from pole position will maintain the first place. Yes, great start by Lamborghini 617. Behind him, it is Adam Konopka driving the 77 Lamborghini of ARC Bratislava, and behind there is one of the KTMs of crew Mraz Homola. Behind another Lamborghini, and behind the red Lamborghini there is already Miro Konopka, the team boss of ARC Bratislava and the father of Adam Konopka, driving on the second place. But right now there is Adam Konopka diving into the inside, and this was brave move. But the battle, oh no, it was a great mistake, big mistake by Adam Konopka. He lost control over his Lamborghini and he crashed into the barrier. So very early mistake by a young Slovakian driver, and this is a great shame for Adam Konopka. Fortunately for him, it was not a hard hit of the barriers, so I believe Adam Konopka is now eligible to rejoin the race. But no, there is a problem. There is a problem with his yellow Lamborghini number 77, and I'm afraid that this might be the end of the race for Adam Konopka very early. Not only the first lap has he completed, and I believe he will be forced to retire. Oh no, there is another crash between the M4 GT3 and one of the Huracans. Another crash between the BMW and Lamborghini. So what a wild start of the endurance race. It's an endurance race and we already lost 2 GT3 cars. You always say you can't win the endurance race in the first lap, but you can lose it in the first lap, and this is the case. This is exactly the case. What is happening right here? So the Lamborghini 617, after starting from the pole position, is still leading the race. And second place overall right now for the KTM number 26. There is Adam Konopka, the young Slovakian driver, who is forced to pit very early after the first lap of the race. His yellow Lamborghini is in the pit lane, and I am afraid that this is the end for Adam Konopka. Great shame for young Slovakian driver. You can see the suspension of the rear right wheel, and you can see the moves of the mechanic, and I believe these gestures of the mechanics are telling us that this is the end. So number 77 needs to retire, and this is great shame for Slovakian driver, great shame for ARC Bratislava. Big mistake by Adam Konopka, as he is still gaining the experience. Very young driver, only few starts behind the wheel of Lamborghini GT3 to his name, and this was very harsh. I believe Adam Konopka will be able to build his confidence on this bad experience. Let's wish him this. We also saw the other Lamborghini number 63, and I believe it is the Austrian driver Christian Wimberger. Yes, it is number 63, so Christian Wimberger, the home Austrian driver, racing on the home soil, and unfortunately for him, his race was ended at the beginning of lap 2. Very, very early ending for the Austrian driver. Also, the grey and green BMW M4 GT3 is no longer in the race, so it's also the retirement for number 500 of Antal Shigo. So we've already lost 3 GT3 cars after only 2 laps of the race. And this is a disaster. This is a disaster for ARC Bratislava and also for Antal Shigo and number 500. And also big misfortune for the Austrian driver of number 63 Lamborghini. Big misfortune for Christian Wimberger, because he was only a passenger and he got hit from the Hungarian driver behind the wheel of his BMW M4 GT3. So we've already witnessed big mistakes from the drivers, a lot of misfortune, and of course the full course yellow is necessary right now to make the track clear and clean again for racing. One more time we saw the crash of Adam Konopka, unfortunately for him, and this, I'm sorry, but this was the huge impact between Antal Shigo and Christian Wimberger, and this was a huge mistake by of course the Hungarian driver, a huge mistake by Antal Shigo, and I believe that this moment will be much discussed after the race and will be also much discussed between the team members, because this was absolutely unnecessary for Antal Shigo. There was absolutely no chance to take the inside line and overtake the Austrian driver. It was just too early, and Antal Shigo was just too far away to try this attack into the third one. So absolutely unnecessary incident between the BMW 500 and Lamborghini 63. Also big shame for the fans, because what the fans want to see is the race mainly between the super strong GT3 cars, and we've already lost 3 only after the 2 laps. My goodness, what a wild start into the endurance race. And you can see the mechanics already working on a damaged 77 Lamborghini Huracan GT3 in the garage of Slovakian team ARC Bratislava. And super set driver Adam Konopka is just standing next to the Lamborghini, and I believe he's thinking about what could he do differently next time, let's say. Because as I said, this is all about gaining the experience, and this was very hard lesson for the Slovakian driver. Very hard lesson. Meanwhile, the mechanics, meanwhile the marshals, of course, are taking away the broken BMW of Antal Shigo. As you can see, there is a damage to the front left. That's the place, or that's the part of the car which collided with the front, with the rear right of 63 Lamborghini of Christian Wimberger. So there will be a lot of work for the mechanics to repair the cars and to get them ready for tomorrow, of course. Meanwhile, we still have the full course yellow. We are still under the full course yellow because we still have the race marshals on the track, putting the 500 BMW behind the barriers, and that means that we need to wait with racing. The track must be safe for racing at the first place, so until it will be, we are going to stay under the full course yellow conditions, definitely. The race is on again. We have a green flag one more time with 48 minutes to go. So it was about 9 minutes long, full course yellow long period. But right now we are green again and we are watching the leading Lamborghini. The leading Lamborghini 617 already has a great advantage over the second place car, almost 7 seconds between the leading car of Tverazer Mackenzie crew, and there is a 7 seconds between 617 and KTM 26 on the second place of the crew Mraz and Homola, and then there is a Miro Konopka on P3 behind the wheel of his Lamborghini Huracan GT3 number 44. So that's the remaining car of ARC Bratislava in the race, as Adam Konopka had to retire after hitting the barriers quite heavily after his mistake. So only one of two Slovakians Lamborghini Huracans on the track right now, with Miro Konopka having a great chance for podium today. Behind Konopka it's Alexander Ober behind the wheel of number 78, Lamborghini Huracan GT3 by 78 racing team. Behind Alexander Ober it's Hermann Speck behind the wheel of Porsche 911 GT3R Gen 2 car by DB Motorsport, and behind Hermann Speck it is already Jakub Knoll behind the wheel of Michanek Motorsport powered by Bagheera Lamborghini Super Trofeo, and that's already the first car in a GTC class, so great position for Czech team. Behind Jakub Knoll it is Porsche 992 Cup, one of 3 992 Cups going after each other. And these three cars, 771 and N85, are fighting for P1, P2 and P3 in their class also. So it's also a great battle for the Porsche Cup car class, this class GTC1 actually. Here we can see a battle between KTM and the second Lamborghini of Mechanic Motorsport powered by Bakira. That was Libor Dvořáček behind the wheel of Lamborghini, who lost his position. So right now it's P13 for Libor Dvořáček behind the wheel of 22 Lamborghini Huracan Super Trofeo by Mechanic Motorsport powered by Bakira. And the Orlen Janik Motorsport KTM GTX is ahead of him on P12 right now. And Tverasser is still leading the race, and the advantage on his side is getting bigger and bigger with each lap, with each corner. Right now it's 11.5 seconds between the leading Lamborghini 617 and the KTM at a second place. And of course that's not an equal fight, because the leading Lamborghini is a GT3 car and the car on the second place is KTM GTX, starting in a GTX class and leading the GTX class at the same moment. So they are obviously different targets for both of the cars. But anyway, Tverasser is going in a very strong pace at the front of the field, and I believe in a few moments it could be a quite interesting battle between the second placed KTM number 26 and Miro Konopka behind the wheel of 44 Lamborghini Huracan GT3. Of course, Lamborghini should be the quicker car, but anyway, right now there is a gap between the two cars, about 2 seconds, so we will check on this later. Meanwhile, another battle between another Lamborghini and one of the Porsches in the race. And this should be the fight for P4, because Alexander Ober is behind the wheel of number 78 Lamborghini Huracan GT3, and Hermann Speck is just behind him in the yellow Porsche number 611. It's a car prepared by DB Motorsport, and Hermann Speck is doing all he can to chase him down, to chase down Alexander Ober behind the wheel of Lamborghini. But one more time, this is not quite equal race, because of course both cars are different and each car is starting in different class. Alexander Ober at the moment is on second place in a GTX class. So it's the second placed car in a GTX class behind the 26 KTM, which is on second place in overall standings behind Tverasser behind the wheel of 617 Lamborghini Huracan GT3 Evo. So that's the situation in the overall standings at and also in the GTX class at the moment. So we have 40 minutes to go in the endurance race. And let's have a closer look on this battle, because there is one Cup Porsche ahead of the only BMW M4 GT4 in this race. So this should be Aris Racing number 444, the BMW M4 GT4 driven by the crew Benyo and Homola. Yes, it is 444, and right now it is chasing down the Porsche of GT Sports Technology team, and ahead of them another two GT3 cars by Lemma Racing. So this is also the battle for the top spot in the GT4 class. Right now the GT4 leader is Mark Kastelic behind the wheel of Mercedes AMG GT4 number 19 by Lemma Racing. And he is racing in the first Mercedes in this queue, going off the screen right now, and there is a second place GT4 car. It's another white and orange Mercedes AMG GT4 with its crew Lantos Mladenovic, and the Porsche number 84 is just not so far away from the striking distance, let's say. And of course all the drivers of the slower cars need to be careful right now, because the leader is in the traffic already. So with 38 minutes to go, there is a leader of the race in the traffic. And you can also see the mechanics of ARC Bratislava still working on Adam Konopska Lamborghini. And I believe it won't be rejoining the race, because firstly the damage to the rear right suspension was quite big, and of course the second reason is there is no point, you know, because the gap would be just huge between Adam Konopka and the rest of the field. So let's wish best of luck for the ARC Bratislava mechanics to get this car into the, let's say, race eligible conditions for tomorrow again, as we will have another race of, as said, of course tomorrow is the sprint day, so cars need to be ready, but of course some cars are taking part only in the endurance race, but we will discuss this tomorrow. Meanwhile, Tverasser leading the race with the advantage over 21 seconds over the car on the second place. So far so good for the leading Lamborghini number 617. Number 26 still on the second place, and Miro Konopka is just unable to chase down the 26 KTM. You can see by yourself that the gap between car number 26 and car number 44 is bigger than 13 seconds, so the KTM is going really quickly. If I take a look on the lap times, stuck in the last lap, it was 1 minute 28 seconds, 0.9 for leading car, and 1 minute 31 seconds, 0.1 for the car on the second place, and 1 minute 32.8 for Miro Konopka on third place. So Miro Konopka is being 1 second slower if we compare his pace with the car on the second place. So that's why he's unable to chase down the 26 KTM. Meanwhile, there is a fight in GT4 class. This is a fight in GT4 class, and it's the only BMW M4 GT4 of Slovakian crew Peño and Gonda. And there is a only intention for BMW 444, and it is to overtake Mercedes number 20 ahead of him. And there is a problem. There is a problem for Lamborghini, and it is another Lamborghini with troubles. This might be the Austrian driver Christian Wimberger, number 63. So this car is most likely in troubles again, and it looks like Christian Wimberger was forced to stop the car on the track. So it's quite possible that we will have a full course yellow again in this race with 34 minutes to go. Let's find where the car is, and of course yellow flags are just local for the moment. We have a yellow flag at the turn 2, so the car has stopped on the long straight between the turn 1 and turn 3. Meanwhile, there is a driver change in BMW 444, so that's the GT4 car. And also one of the Michalek Motorsport powered by Bagheera Lamborghini Huracans is on the pit lane. And it will be also for the driver change, because both Michalek Motorsport Lamborghinis have their crews of 2 drivers ready for the race. I can't see which number it is, but most likely it is the number 11, which means that Jakub Knoll is done for the moment, and Josef Zaruba is taking over the driving duties right now. So pit stop for the first of 2 Lamborghinis of Michalek Motorsport powered by Bagheera. Yes, it is number 11. We can now clearly see the number 11 on the doors of the car. So Josef Zaruba is ready to finish the race. Josef Zaruba is taking over for the last 32 minutes. We've been speaking with Josef Zaruba on the grid, and he was quite confident about the possibility of winning the race in the class. So let's wait and see if it will become a true. Also, the remaining Lamborghini from ARC Bratislava is in the pit lane. You can see the mechanics checking the tire pressure, checking if there is everything okay for the second half of the race. It is not a bad position for Miro Konopka, as he's fighting for P3 in the overall standings. And actually it's a first place for Miro Konopka in GT3 class, so it's a good position for a very experienced Slovakian driver who has a lot of experiences from endurance and sports car races all over the world. Of course, race fans from Czech Republic or from the Czech Republic and Slovakia knows ARC Bratislava very well, because it's the only Slovakian team which took a part in the full season of FIA World Endurance Championship, and Miro Konopka himself was racing in Le Mans many times, so he has also experiences from Circuit de la Sarthe, and he is just in love with sports car racing and endurance in general. So if the race is called endurance, you can bet that he will be strong, even though this endurance race is only 1 hour long. But despite the fact it is only 1 hour, Miro Konopka is very much enjoying it himself each time he sits inside the cockpit, grab the steering wheel and just go. So Miro Konopka back on track. We are under the full course yellow, so it was necessary for the race control to deploy the full course yellow period for the second time in this race, because it was necessary for the marshals to make the track clean and clear again for the second part of the race. Also the second placed KTM is on the pit lane. You can see the driver change. So far so good for Karin Racing. The only car from the front which has not pit yet is the leading Lamborghini 617. That's the reason why there is a gap over 1 minute big between the leading car and the second car, which is the KTM number 26, but of course we need to wait to check the gaps. Of course we had the full course yellow period for the second time, and now some cars are still being on the pit lane, so the times are definitely compromised. But anyway, 28 minutes to go and track is green again, so we are racing one more time. And we will be checking the standings in a few seconds, because maybe somebody gained an advantage thanks to the pitting on the right time. Of course, we had a full course yellow period, so that's a fact which can make a difference in the race. But anyway, the KTM number 26 is back on track. Right now we can see it on a pit exit, and Adam Konopka's Lamborghini number 77 is still in the garage, and it, I believe, won't be changing for the rest of the race. Still 27 minutes to go, and we still have the Lamborghini 617 on the first place, with Trevasser behind the wheel. Coach McKenzie will be ready to take over the driving duties for the rest of the race, as the entry list says so. And you are watching the leading Lamborghini right now. After the pits, for this moment only, it's a Bob Bow on a second place, which is car 846. That's a Porsche 911 Cup by Kogelbauer Motorsport. But let's wait after all the pit stops. Then we will be able to say who is where. Anyway, I was quite surprised to see the number 77 Lamborghini back on the pit lane. It looks like the mechanics were really quick and make Adam Konopka's Lamborghini ready again to get back on the track. But maybe there is another problem, I had a feeling that I see a car stopping on a track, but we have no yellow flag right now, so I believe the track is clear and clean again. So we are still racing under the green flag with 24.5 minutes to go. The green Lamborghini is still the overall leader of the race, and Miro Konopka is on a second place. So this went well for ARC Bratislava, because the 26 KTM is on P6 after the pit stop. So this is a very good situation for Miro Konopka and his ambitions to finish the race on the second place overall, because right now he's on P2. And Adam Konopka is going back. Adam Konopka is going back on track, so he will be testing the car for the last 24 minutes with a huge gap between him and the cars in the leading lap. 18 laps done by the leader already, and Adam Konopka entered the pit lane after the first lap, so he is being 17 laps down. But anyway, another chance for Adam Konopka to gain new experience from driving Lamborghini Huracan GT3 on a Red Bull Ring. As I said, very young and talented Slovakian driver who is actually not adult yet. He's younger than 18 years old, so this is very, very tough lesson for young Slovakian driver. He will now have to deal also with the traffic on the track, because he is driving the fastest car, or the car from the fastest class, which is the GT3 class, and you can see that he's chasing down one of the cup cars, so he will have to overtake the slower drivers in a few moments. It is happening right now. It was Adam Konopka overtaking one of the Mercedes GT4 cars. So this is good from the learning point of view for the young Slovakian driver. It's P20, or it is already P19 for Adam Konopka, because other two cars are retired. So on the live timing I can see Adam Konopka ahead of Christian Limberger and Antel Schico already. So realistically, Adam Konopka can finish this race on P19 in overall standings. Anyway, meanwhile, there is a BMW M4 GT4, and this car is on P3 in the GT4 class. And actually there is quite a gap between the BMW and the leading GT4 car. But anyway, after the pit stop, Aris Racing BMW gained one position. It was on P3 and it is on P2 right now. On the other hand, it is the Mercedes AMG GT4 number 20, which has dropped one position. So it is right now P3 in GT4 class for Mercedes number 20. Let's watch this situation between the Lamborghini and the KTM. It was Josef Zaruba chasing down the 26 KTM for P5 overall. But the good news for Lamborghini number 11 is the fact that it is leading the race in GTC class. So that was a prediction of Josef Zaruba in the interview on the grid, that his car can win this race in its class. And as we can see, it's quite possible that it is going to happen, just as Josef Zaruba said on the grid. Less than 20 minutes to go. And this is number 77 Lamborghini of Adam Konopka. One more time on the screen. And still P19 for young Slovakian driver, with, I guess, no chance of moving up to the front. It's only about gaining the experience from this race. But watch this battle. It's Josef Zaruba behind the 26 KTM. Both cars are leading their classes. The number 11 Lamborghini is leading the GTC class. Meanwhile, the 26 KTM is leading the GTX class, and Josef Zaruba is already in the striking distance, so he is looking for the space. He is looking for his way ahead of KTM. There was a small chance of having the inside line, but Josef Zaruba was just too far away for that. But right now there's a better chance for the Czech driver to attack on the inside, and he is successful. Josef Zaruba is taking P5 right now. Great job by the Czech driver, who took over the driving duties at the half of the race after Jakub Knoll has started the race with a Lamborghini number 11. And right now there's a slower there's a slower Porsche, but it did not cause a lot of troubles for both drivers in the quicker cars, in the quicker Lamborghini and quicker KTM. And just after the overtaking maneuver, Josef Zaruba is making the gap between him and the KTM number 26. So great job and great pace by Josef Zaruba right now. If you take a look at the other Mechanic Motorsport powered by Bagheera Lamborghini car, it is right now on P9 and on P3 in GTC class, I'm sorry, at the same time. So both Mechanic Motorsport powered by Bagheera cars are on the podium right now, both fighting in a GTC class. So great race for the Czech team so far. When we are looking at the KTM by Orlen Janík Motorsport, it's number 73, currently running on P7, ahead of the Porsche 992 Cup number 85. And this could be a fight for P7 at the moment. Leader of the race again in the traffic. Saw the first placed car again in the turn 1 overtaking the slower cars, and it is 23 seconds between the leading BMW number 617 and second placed 44 Lamborghini Huracan GT3 of Miro Konopka. So the situation is quite clear between the first and second place. And last 15 minutes to go. You are looking at the second Trevor Racing car, the older one actually. It's the BMW M6 GT3, driven by Gregor Shigo at the moment. And it is currently P4 for the Hungarian driver and P2 in the GT3 class. So it's the second place car in GT3 category behind Miro Konopka on a second place overall. And also this is a great battle between the KTM of Yannick Motorsport and GT Sports Technology Porsche 992 Cup. But the main focus of Yannick Motorsport car is of course on GTX class, where this car is on a second place, and that's of course the most important thing, to maintain the pace and to stay on a P2 and to have a chance to step up on the podium after the race. 13 minutes to go, still the Lamborghini leading the way. It should be Coach Mackenzie behind the wheel of the green Lamborghini number 617 of HB Racing International. 26 laps done already. Actually, Miro Konopka is being faster right now than the leading car. This is because there was a driver change, of course, and there is a second driver behind the wheel of 617 who is apparently slower than Treas, who started the race. So it's now 18 seconds and 7/10 of a second between the first and second place, between the Coach Mackenzie and Miro Konopka. If we compare the last two laps, so in the last lap it was 1:35.874 for the leading car and 1:32.591 for Miro Konopka on the second place. So Miro Konopka was quicker by 3 seconds. But of course, also the traffic on the track could cause this fact. Not only the speed of Miro Konopka behind the wheel of his Lamborghini, but anyway, still a great performance by very, very experienced Slovakian driver and the team boss. 11 minutes to go. It's number 617 on P1 leading the race. At the overall standings, then it is a GT3 leader, Miro Konopka behind the wheel of Huracan GT3. Then it is a Herman Spacek. Oh, sorry, Herman Speck, of course, the driver on a third place, and on a second place in E6A plus 6B class. The leader of E6A plus 6B class is this green Lamborghini, so it is the overall leader as well. Behind Herman Speck, it is Gregor Shigo behind the wheel of the older BMW BMW M6 GT3, prepared by Trevor Racing. P5, that's Josef Zaruba behind the wheel of Lamborghini Super Trofeo, or Lamborghini Huracan Super Trofeo number 11, prepared by Michelin Motorsport, powered by Bagheera, and that's also the leader of the GTC class. Behind Josef Zaruba, it's the KTM 26, the leader of GTX class. P7 right now for KTM GTX number 73, prepared by Orlen Janik Motorsport, second place in the GTX class. P8, the second Lamborghini from Michelin Motorsport, powered by Bagheera, and it is Easy Mechanic behind the wheel on P8 and on P2 in the GTC class. So right now it is 1-2 for Mechanic Motorsport, powered by Bagheera, in the GTC class standings. So quite a good team effort for the Czech team, with the team boss Easy Mechanic behind the wheel is Owen Carr, number 22. Behind them on P9 is number 85, Porsche 992 Cup, on the third place in GTC class. And let's also talk about the car on P14 overall, because that's the GT4 leader. That's the Mercedes-AMG GT4 number 19, with Mark Kastelic behind the wheel. That's the car prepared by Lemma Racing. We still have 19 cars in the race after Adam Konopka rejoined. 8.5 minutes, and Miro Konopka is still being slightly quicker than the leading car, but in the last lap, on the other hand, it was the leading car quicker again than the Slovakian driver. But anyway, the gap between the two cars is getting slower and slower, but it's getting down only by tenths of a second, not by a second. Right now it is 17.9 between the leading Lamborghini and the number 44 Lamborghini by ARC Bratislava on P2. And there is also very comfortable advantage for Miro Konopka, because the gap between him and Hermann Speck on P3 is around 7 seconds at the moment. So there is no danger for Slovakian driver, who is driving his yellow Lamborghini Huracan GT3 number 44 on the second place. So Hermann Speck P3, Gregor Schigo P4, and Josef Zaruba P5. That's the top 5 at the moment, with 7 minutes to go in this Asset Central European Zone Championship endurance race. Nice look into the garage of ARC Bratislava, as the team members are closely following the journey of their team boss Miro Konopka behind the wheel of this car. Last 6 minutes of driving for Miro Konopka and the rest of the field at the moment. Meanwhile, it's still Coach McNassie driving fast at the front of the field. 5 minutes to go for the leading Lamborghini, and the gap is still 17 seconds, 0.9. I can see no drama for the last 5 minutes of the race. The gaps are just too big between the cars. The only smaller gap is there between Gregor Schigo on P4, who is chasing down Hermann Speck behind the wheel of his Porsche 991 GT3 Argent 2 on P3. We have a 4 seconds, 0.3 between these two drivers, but we have only 4 minutes to go, and this gap is just too big for Gregor Schigo to chase down Hermann Speck. But of course there was a move, and it was a successful move for Josef Zaruba, who overtook Gregor Schigo, which means the Lamborghini number 11 is on a P4 overall. So Josef Zaruba managed to overtake driver behind the wheel of GT3 car. Great effort by the Czech driver of a Czech team, Michalek Motorsport, powered by Bagheera. So right now it's a Lamborghini number 11 on P4, just ahead of Gregor Schigo behind the wheel of 24 Turbo Racing BMW M6 GT3. 3.5 minutes to go. Great job by Josef Zaruba. So there you can see why he was so self-confident just before the start of the race on the grid. He knew what he can do, and he proved himself one more time. Josef Zaruba in a great cooperation with his teammate Jakub Knoll this weekend. The whole crew is doing a great job, and they are going for the victory in a GT C class here in the endurance race on Red Bull Ring Austria. 2 minutes and 45 seconds to go. And there are only 2 seconds between Josef Zaruba and Hermann Speck. So let's wait and see what can Josef Zaruba do in the last 2 minutes of the race, because it seems to me that Josef Zaruba is quite quick, and if we compare the last lap of Josef Zaruba and Hermann Speck, Josef Zaruba did 1:31.7 and Hermann Speck was 2 seconds slower. So maybe this is not over yet for Josef Zaruba, who is fighting for the overall podium right now. 2 minutes to go, and Josef Zaruba is flying on the track. The last lap was the fastest for Josef Zaruba, or I shall say, in the last lap Josef Zaruba was the fastest driver from the whole field. So the Czech driver of Lamborghini number 11 is doing absolutely wonderful job right now. We are looking at Coach McKenzie leading the race with the advantage over 15 seconds between him and Miro Konopka on P2. But I wish to see the small gap between Josef Zaruba and Hermann Speck on P3, because this could be quite interesting actually. It should be less than a second between these two, and I believe that Josef Zaruba is able to attack Hermann Speck. So let's watch the live timing. 30 seconds to go. The next lap will be most likely the last lap. But I want to see where is Josef Záruba and where is Hermann Speck? 14 seconds between Coach McKenzie and Miro Konopka, and wait for the other cars crossing the finish line. This will be quite interesting because the gap was so small between the Porsche number 611 and Lamborghini 11 that I believe Josef Záruba has been attacking Hermann Speck on the track, and yes, Josef Záruba is on P3, so great job by the Czech driver. Josef Záruba did it, and it means that Lamborghini number 11 is on P3 overall. So not only the first place in GTC class, but also the P3 in the overall standings. Great job by Josef Záruba. Of course, also great job by Jakub Knoll, who started the race behind the wheel of number 11. But right now, absolutely great job, great driving by Czech driver Josef Záruba, by very experienced and traditional driver of Michanek Motorsport powered by Bakira. But anyway, we have a Coach McKenzie in the next lap, and I believe this can be the last lap of the race. This can be the last lap of the race because the time is up and we have only 13 seconds or 13.7 seconds between Coach McKenzie and Miro Konopka. No fight here. Nothing gonna happen between these two. The gap is just too big, even though Miro Konopka has been a quicker driver in the closing stages. And yes, it is confirmed by the race control. This is the last lap of the race. So let's wait for the winners, and also let's wait for Josef Záruba because he did a tremendous job in his final stint. This is the Lamborghini. Yes, this is the Lamborghini. There is another Lamborghini. This is the one from ARC Bratislava. This is not a cup car, not a trophy car. This is the GT3, of course. But let's wait for the winner in the overall standings. Here he comes. Coach McKenzie behind the wheel of number 617 Lamborghini Huracan GT3 Evo by HP Racing International. And this is the winner of the endurance race and the overall standings. Now let's wait for Miro Konopka. Is it him or is it Adam Konopka, the second Lamborghini? No, this was Miro. Yes, Miro Konopka crossed the finish line on P2. So that's the GT3 victory for ARC Bratislava, and number 44, Miro Konopka, second place in overall standings. And also let's wait for Josef Záruba, because it was absolutely superb driving from this Czech driver in the closing stages of the race. He managed to chase down Hermann Speck, overtook him on the racetrack, took the P3 overall and also the P1. Yes, Josef Záruba crossed the finish line, so it's a P3 overall for Lamborghini Huracan Super Trofeo car number 11, and also the victory in GTC class. Hermann Speck on P4 behind him, and also the second place in A6A plus 6B class, Gregor Shigo P5, and the second place in GT3, the crew of Mraz and Homola with KTM number 26 on P6, winning the GTX class. Behind them P7, the crew of Libor Dvořáček and Jiří Michanek. That's P7 overall, and P2 in GTC class behind the number 11, so it's 1-2 finish for Michanek Motorsport powered by Bagheera in GTC class. Great team effort. Then it's P8, the crew of Chepiel and Kokkola, number 73. Orlen Janik Motorsport KTM GTX, the second place in GTX class. P9 behind them, Breka and Neffe, number 85, Porsche 992 Cup. It's P3 in GTC class. P10, the crew of Delametko and Lisovsky. That's P4 in GT C class, P11. Radek Kolařík behind the wheel of Schenki's Motorsport Porsche 992 Cup. It's a P5 in GT C class. Behind Radek Kolařík on P12 it's Bob Bau. Behind the wheel of number 846 Porsche 991 Cup on P6 in GT-C class. Behind him on P13 it's number 71 Porsche 992 Cup by Colina Motorsport, the crew of Pitigoy and Raducanu. It's P7 in GT-C. P14 Kunica and Peklin, number 84 GT Sports Technology Porsche 992 Cup, P8 in GT-C class, and then it's Mark Kastelic on P15 overall, and winning the GT4 class with 19 Mercedes AMG GT4 by Lema Racing. Behind him the crew of Benio and Gonda on P16, and the second place in GT4 with the number 444 BMW M4 GT4. And behind Benio and Gonda it is on P17 the crew of Lantos and Mladenovic, P3 in GT4 class. And then on P18 it is Adam Konopka, who has rejoined the race after the crash on lap 1, and he finished on P18 and also on P3 in GT3 class. So this was the endurance race, the 1 hour long challenge on Red Bull Ring, and I believe you enjoyed as much as I did.